Wonderful. Now, if you want to see the entire film, you have to wait for another 15 minutes when we start with our next session. So I request all of you to please be around. Thank you so much.
उसके बाद वाला ये हो गया ना राजेश जी वैष्णव उनका से ये कटिंग में वो बोल दिया
Check, check. I request your attention, please. We are starting the session in another 10 minutes. So I want all of you to please settle down. अगले 10 ही मिनट में हम अगला सेशन के साथ शुरुआत करने वाले हैं. मैं चाहती हूँ जितने भी लोग अटेंड करना चाहते हैं, and the next session is about digital transformation. So it's a kind request to all of you, please, please, please settle down. Thank you.
लंबा है छोटा सा मास्क भी नहीं एक पैसे का मास्क है
much. Your kind attention, please. I request the audience sitting at the back to please shift in the front. जितने भी लोग पीछे की ओर बैठे हैं, मैं सभी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी आप लोग आगे आके बैठ जाएं. आगे की बहुत स्पेस खाली है, बहुत चेयर्स खाली है. आप लोग प्लीज आगे आके बैठ जाएं. I think 5 more minutes and we are all set to start the next session, which is the digital transformation. So please stay tuned, please be around. All of your attention towards the screen, please. Can we hear some round of applause for the beautiful trailer that we saw? Thank you. So that was just a glimpse of the movie that they have created. So I would request all of you to please stay back, stay tuned. I think 5 more minutes and we are all set to start with the next session here, and that is the digital. All of you are feeling good, activated, charged up as you are here at the finale day of JITO Connect 2022, powered by Sonali Group, a venture by Vinodji Mandot. So before I start with the next session, I would really like to thank our sponsors quickly. Our platinum sponsors were Ranka Jewelers, BJ Bhandari, Cello, Manikchand Group, Percept Ajmera Group. Our food sponsors, Sukanta. Our gold sponsors, APPL, Hindustan Fairs and Alloys, Suhana, Siddhivinayak Group, and Baldota Group. Our silver sponsors were Kushal Landmarks, Vikas Bhatewara, Neelkanth Jewelers, Krishna Diagnostics, and Himalaya Wellness. Also, the event was beautifully managed by Raka Events. On that note, we are starting the next session here on the main stage in the main hall, hall number 1. And I would like to invite Mr. Gaurav Bhatia, Board of Directors, Youth Wing Pune, to please come on the stage for the introduction about digital transformation, and our speakers Harish Mehta and Rajiv Vaishnav. तो मैं चाहती हूँ जोरदार तालियों से इनका स्वागत करें मिस्टर गौरव भाटिया. Wow. So Mr. Gaurav, the whole hall is waiting for you. Over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's the Josh? How's the Josh? Good afternoon. I, Gaurav Bhatia, welcome you all to our event in JITO Connect called Digital Transformation. This word must have been buzzing around you from many years in different ways through different social media. How fastly you should adapt and everything. I would like to explain in a few words. Digital transformation is the process of using digital technologies to create new or modify existing business process, cultures, and customer experience to meet changing business and market trends. This reimagining of business in digital age is called digital transformation. India is a country with low middle income, but significant amount of data consumption of mobile user consume is an average of 8.3 GB data per month, which surpasses China, which is 5.5 GB per month. With the number of smartphone users in India predict to go up to 650 to 700 million mark, and the number of internet users by 40% in 2023. Businesses with a good reason to include digital transformation in their day-to-day activities. According to a global survey in 2020, India had a 52% adoption rate of digital solutions. This is an impressive figure in India, which is in the path of digitalization. Following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, India started advancing towards achieving its digital transformation goals faster. Finding and sharing information became much easier once it is digitalized. The digital transformation market in India is on its way for hitting the $710 billion mark by 2024. By considering this figure, it can be safely said that the services and technology industry in the country is heading towards progress at a brisk pace in digital transformation. And to hear more about digital transformation, I would like to introduce our speaker of the session, Mr. Harish G. Mehta. Harish G. Mehta is one of the founding members and the first elected chairperson of NASSCOM, an industry association that was started from his office. NASSCOM worked with the member of companies to collaborate and enable Indian IT industry to become a global force to reckon with. He holds a bachelor degree in electrical engineering from College of Engineering, Pune, and has a master's in electrical engineering from Brooklyn Polytechnic Institute, USA. At NASSCOM, Mr. Mehta is the convener for the Chairperson's Council. At NASSCOM 25 years celebration event, Mr. Mehta was recognized by our beloved Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, for his contribution to India's IT industry. He is also the founder and chairperson of Onward Group, having led 2 generations of the business, Onward Novel Software and Onward Technologies. The 50-50 JV between Onward Group and Novel at the time was one of its kind. And in the country, Onward Technology is a publicly listed company that employs 2,000 plus people. He recently authored his first book called The Maverick Effect, which documents his journey and live sessions in birthing of NASSCOM and the subsequent revolutionization of Indian IT industry. The book is already a bestseller and has earned praise and great reviews. I would like Shri Harish Ji Mehta to please come up on the stage. And to moderate this session, I would also like Mr. Rajivni Vaishnav from Cornerstone to please come on the stage. Please, round of applause, everyone.
Hello. Very good afternoon. Thank you, Gaurav, for a lovely introduction of Harish Bhai. I keep coming to JITO events. And what is fascinating is the energy, the enthusiasm, and the dedication of this organization to contribute to the welfare of the society. दुष्यंत कुमार जी का एक शेर याद आता है, सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, मेरी कोशिश है कि ये सूरत बदलनी चाहिए. सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, मेरी कोशिश है कि ये सूरत बदलनी चाहिए. मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, हो आग कहीं भी लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए. And this, you know, today while Harish Bhai and I, when we were entering the Shamiana and we were seeing people around and the energy, it was very scintillating. When we are talking of digital transformation, and digital transformation is a very vast subject, nobody better than Harish Bhai should speak about that or could speak about that. The only reason is that what we see, or this generation, today's generation is seeing as transformation. Harish Bhai has worked to nurture the seed of that transformation many years ago. And he has recently, and we are going to have a wonderful launch of a book, The Maverick Effect. It talks about the inside story of India's IT revolution. And when we look at that, we have seen individuals who are phenomenal success in their businesses, in their professions. We have seen some amazing, unique individuals who have contributed in philanthropy. But there are very few people who can claim that they have contributed in nurturing, in building, and making a $200 billion industry. And Harish Bhai is one of them. So ladies and gentlemen, a very huge round of applause to Mr. Harish Mehta. Coming on to the subject of transformation. You know, very interestingly, India has always kind of leapfrogged a generation of technology. हम अभी लैंडलाइन के बारे में सोच ही रहे थे कि लैंडलाइन हर गांव हर गली में पहुंच जाए. Before that we got mobiles. So we jumped that part. We talk of e-commerce. Traditional retail से modern organized retail होते होते e-commerce has taken a majority of the shares of that market. In a crowded city, youngsters, the younger generation, would want to opt for different transportation modes than thinking of owning a car. Now we have jumped that part also. Look at mobile payments. Before even people could get confidence of using credit card online, we have got mobile payments. Now that is India. That is new India. And when we are talking about new India, it is so very important. It is so very important that we look at the beginning of the journey, and if we can get somebody who has put a lot of effort to compile that into a lovely book today on this JITO platform. I'm personally very proud because my association with Harish Bhai is almost 22 years old. He is my mentor, my guru. And today, this is a wonderful occasion with all of you around. We are launching the book, The Maverick Effect. May I request Gaurav to please.
Hello. We are launching with the book launch of The Mavericks Effect. It's a wonderful book. I would request Ganpad Uncle, Chairman of JITO Apex, Suresh Uncle, President of JITO Apex, Vinod Ji Mandot, our sponsor, to please come on the stage. I would also like to call upon Dheeraj Ji Chajed. Gautam Ji Jain, please come on the stage. Paras Ji Bhandari. Gautam Ji Munot, please come on the stage. Gaurav Nahar, please come on the stage. Pritesh Munot. Vishal Ji Jain. Ajay Ji Bora from JPF. Please. Sujay Ji Shah, please, if you can come on the stage.
I request everyone to please applaud for them, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you indeed. So Harish bhai, we have a very interesting audience here. It's mixed with young minds, entrepreneurs. Oh, let me help. I think let's begin. I want to ask you because I read the book, and in the book you are talking about, and people are dreaming to go to a land of opportunity, America. Everybody is, there is a dream. But when you had a green card in your hand, you cut the green card and you came back to India. What was going on in your mind and why you took that decision of not settling in America and coming to India?
I mean, both me and my wife had great job in America. I was database manager, she was systems analyst. And we were earning great salary, as I would put it. We tried our best to Americanize ourselves, but we realized that is not the place where we would like to settle down. And we decided to stay with the family and decided to come back to India. I mean, as simple as that, even in spite of United States being a land of paradise in those days.
Okay. And I understand that you had a family business and you didn't settle for that, and something which was very tough in those times, the digital business, you opted for that. And you very well knew the challenges in India during that phase of your journey. So why you decided that?
See, when I returned, I had an option of joining my father's business. He was in film distribution. That business was not doing well. My father-in-law, he has making parts for the two-wheelers. And somehow that business also didn't excite me. I was database manager. At that time, that technology was about 20 years ahead of India, minimum. So, and then one of my cousins said that, Harish, you will not be successful in India. I said, why? So you're a straightforward person. In India, every other businessman that you will meet either will not pay customs tax, will not pay excise tax, will not pay income tax. When you do not know the input cost of your competitor, how will you compete? So that's what forced me to start thinking. And I said, if I enter the technology business, chances are that there would not be such other reason to stop my growth. Of course, I didn't have money at that time because of other reasons. So I looked for partners. I came up with a business plan. We needed X money. And then I said, this percentage will come from a partnering. So I found Hinditron as a partner. I still had to raise 20%, and I didn't have that. And my father-in-law had a business labor problems. But then I had the courage to ask him. And he gave me non-refundable, interest-free loan. And that's how I started my entrepreneurial journey.
This is very interesting, Harish bhai, because, there was a time when people used to always talk about this. And I have heard somebody saying that in Japan and in India, there are two distinctly different way of thinking. Japanese would think like that if they say that if somebody can do something, I can do something. If somebody can do something, I can definitely do that. And if nobody can do, I must do. Now that's a Japanese way of thinking. The Indian way of thinking during those days was that if somebody can do, let him do it. And if nobody can do, how can I do it? Now, from that kind of inefficient ecosystem with lot of bureaucratic hurdles and hassles, how did you identify those mavericks, as you are mentioning in the book, to form this association called NASSCOM, which is actually a kind of a role model for many business verticals?
I'll give a little story before that also. So when I came to India, I'm going back to 1979, I met one Mr. Sharu Rangnekar, who was the management guru. He said in a meeting like this, welcome, Mr. Mehta. You have come to a country which is, you'll be a first-class citizen, second-class country and third-class administration. And yours and my job is to fix it. So that encouraged me to meet people like him. There are 3 or 4 such people who wanted me to stay back, like Mr. Kohli of TCS, famous Mr. Kohli. When I met him, instead of interviewing me, he spent half an hour trying to convince me to stay back in India. And I said, here is a new freedom fighter of today's age who is not concerned about his company's job for me interviewing, but he's more interested in retaining talent in India. So I was lucky to meet many such people over the career. And then within 8 to 10 years, I was a database manager earning X money, and I could see that I can do the same work sitting in India from a cubicle. All I needed was a communication pipe to the computer center in USA. And I could do that work. And the salary I would get paid would be 15 times differential. 15 times more I was getting paid in USA. So I said it's a great export opportunity for us to be in. So I entered that business. And then over a year's time, I found something 100 plus regulations were strangulating the software services industry. And so I met another 30, 40 people who were doing this business, like Nandan Nilekani was in Bangalore, Ashank Desai in Bombay, many such, and everyone had similar problem. I said, now how do you solve this? Because we all could say billions and billions of dollars of possible. Say the total outsourcing market was about $300 billion. But what was accessible to us was only $1 billion. But if we remove all these obstacles, suddenly that billion can become $30 billion. So we said, let's work toward that goal of removing these obstacles, and then only way we can do it is forming an association. The other decision we took was, luckily all of us were basically educated people in some sense, masters in engineering or management school or whatnot, and middle class background per se. So we also took some hard decisions at that time. For example, we will not bribe government for any policy change. In spite of, in other associations, they were saying, "Aapko kaun pareshan kar raha hai? Hum wo officer ko transfer kara denge." Very different mindset of the industrialists in those days. But we took a very different route. We said, no, we want to change India. Whatever little we can contribute, we'll contribute through NASSCOM. So we came up with a set of values around which we said we will build the association. It took a while, 3 years before even we got the first change done. But then once it took off, today all of us are enjoying the fruits of those decisions. Today our industry earns, he talked about $200 billion. In the last 20 years, we have earned $1 trillion of foreign exchange. $1 trillion. Today, the phones that you buy, the oil that you use, all import comes from who supports it. It happens because of the IT industry. Our industry has created 5 million plus jobs, high-paying jobs. Now, these individuals has created additional 4 to 5 jobs in the society. So there are about 25 to 30 million people are affected by our industry. But look at the contribution of our industry on the cultural side. We employ 37% women, 2 million women employees. Now just imagine these women who are earning good money, the freedom they enjoy at home, the freedom they enjoy at work, and what cultural revolution they are going to bring in. I think it's 8 to 10 years will take before we come to know it. There's a phenomenal change happening inside the country from that perspective. If you look at the stock market, the entire corporate governance standards were set by our industry. Transparency in quarterly reporting, again, was set by our industry, which allowed FDI money to flow in and allowed stock exchanges to flourish. And because of these employees, the banking industry also came up, exchanges came up, automation and whatnot. So the impact of our industry is all pervasive, and that's why we are very proud of by having this association driving these initiatives forward.
No, this is very fascinating that an association can contribute so much, but in the foundation of that association, there are some basic latent values. And Harish Bhai, you have written in your book about the real world Pathshala. And we are in a JITO platform, and there is no other platform than this to ask you this question. You know, at a very young age, you got the tenets of Jainism, such as ahimsa, aparigraha, svikar, anekantvad. Now, these value system that you built in your childhood growing up, how that values have impacted you in your personal and professional life?
First of all, I am not an expert on Jainism. My knowledge of Anekantvad, Aparigraha, or Svikar is limited to my ability to understand. So I'll explain my understanding of, let's say, Anekantvad. Anekantvad, having no absolute truth, having multiple truths, helped me tremendously in analyzing every situation. Like say, when we have all the fiercely competing competitors sitting across the table, one way to look at is go after the kill, go after wishing bad for them. And you take a different approach. You know, he has a job, he is doing his part, so he has to take that position. So empathy gets created automatically from that. And then when there is a major confusion, how will you decide? So there again, to me, Anekantvad came in very handy. The simple ground rule was, whatever is good for the collective good, in that we should go in that favor. I can do one story, I don't know how much time we have, but the multinationals wanted to come back to India, and they said, allow 100% ownership in India. Now, they would compete with our existing players, because there was a fear that you may recruit their people. The multinationals will recruit Indian companies' employees. Multinationals will take away business from Indian companies who are in this business. On the other end, we also could see that by bringing them here, we will get the best quality practices of doing software development. We will also learn from that. So in that process of various discussion and debate, like Anekantvad, one line emerged in one conversation, that whoever develops human capital of India is us, and who doesn't develop is not us. And we said, yes, we must support that. We went to the government, they approved that our scheme. Today, that particular segment has employs today, out of 5 million, 1.2 million software engineers. 1,800 R&D centers of India have taken birth out of that decision. And today, they do what we call co-creation work with their companies, Fortune 500 companies, work co-creation of the Fortune 500 in partnership with Indian companies. And this will give a massive growth even for Indian service providers over the next 5 years. So that's what happens when you follow some of these principles, align yourself, and then take a decision at a much higher. And that can only happen when the creative juices of competitors flow. Because we had to Mr. Kohli had to support that, Azim Premji had to support it, Narayan Murthy had to support it before we go forward. So that's what the difference comes when fiercely competitive competitors come together. And then now look at the numbers. We have 30% growth every year, 30% compounded growth over the last 30 years. No industry in the world has such a growth demonstrated.
So this is amazing learning, Harish Bhai. Thank you very much for sharing that. People of my generation would know that Harish Bhai identified a person called Devang Mehta. Devang Mehta, who led NASSCOM for 10 years. And what we see India today, it was all started with this one individual who positioned India as a changing face of India. Globally, people started recognizing India as a force to reckon with. I remember in 1997, when NASSCOM had a similar leadership summit, the theme of that conference was India, the IT superpower. The man with so much of energy, the man with so much passion, patriotism for the country to do something very significant. How could you identify that talent and mentor him to perform the way he performed? Can you please share some of your experience?
See, Dr. Sumantra Gosal of London School of Economics, he used to say that 1,000 years of downward spiral of India, including the initial socialistic license Raj of India, was arrested by the IT industry. And that happened thanks to NASSCOM running it. And who was the Sutradhar of NASSCOM at that time? Devang Mehta. So that is Devang Mehta's contribution. Now, how did I select him? He used to write, he was EDP manager at a Orissa Cement in Delhi. And he used to write in newspapers. So once I saw his writing, and I liked it, I said, he speaks, understand the nuances of our industry. So I called him, said, I want to meet you. Then we became friends. And number of times I would see him when he's reading the newspaper, there'll be tears in his eyes. I said, Devang, why these tears? And then in the newspaper, there was some article about corruption. Then he said, Apro desh kya re sudhar se? He was so pained seeing India so in such a bad situation. So when we were looking for someone to run NASSCOM, I thought of Devang. I said, maybe he would be interested in joining. When I approached Devang, he said, Devang, would you join NASSCOM? He started laughing. He said, are you kidding? Joining non-profit for me? I even don't know NASSCOM will survive for 2 more years or not. And why should I spoil my career? And I sold the vision of NASSCOM to him. I said, listen, if you are so passionate about changing India, here is a platform for you to come and use your skills and passion and energy in driving it. Then after 1 week, I made a deal with him. I said, okay, I can't afford to pay you what you are earning. I can pay you only X. So you work 4 days a week with us, 3 days you'll be a consultant and earn the remaining money. So that partly a little bit appealed to him and he joined NASSCOM. But of course he never did the 3 days of work. And after he joined, dramatic change. Just to give you one example, we had to change the Copyright Act. So when we used to approach customers in USA, in those days, they were looking at us as a thief. Because we Indians believe in copyright, a right to copy and not in copyright. So we're a very poor brand of India. So the customer looks at us or a prospect looks at us and says, he's a thief. If I share my data and my programs to you to modify, you are going to steal it and sell in the marketplace. So why should I give you? So it was pinching us badly. So we say we have to change the Copyright Act of India. So we approached the government. You'll be even surprised, some of the bureaucrats argued with us. What are you talking? They have looted us, Britishers have looted us, all the kings in Middle East have looted us. It's our time to loot their intellectual property. We have given Mahabharata free to our people. We have given Ramayana free to our people. We have never charged a royalty for the zero that we invented. So why should we pay all that? So we wanted, but we are very clear that if India had, we had to build India brand globally, and we must have a strong Copyright Act. But this kind of resistance, Devang gave a presentation for modifying Copyright Act to every political party at that time. So when it came to the Lok Sabha for approval, not a single objection, and it sailed through. So that was his style of working.
That's amazing. That's really speaks volumes about that individual. And I think you in your book also talks about, and you also mentioned right now, about cooperation, collaboration, and competition. So can you have some anecdotal example when you can share with us, like you were talking about that Russia delegation or something?
Okay. The PMO took a delegation to Russia. They took IT delegation and they took pharma delegation. Now, from the IT delegation, who would give a presentation? So at that time, Som Mittal was our president. So Som should be giving a presentation. But Som looked around and he saw Harsh Manglik, who was chairman of Accenture India and chairman of NASSCOM also. So he should be giving a presentation. So now, Harsh looked around and he said, Mr. N. Chandra, chairman of CEO of TCS, he is present, so he should give a presentation. So they approached Chandra. Chandra, would you give a presentation? So Chandra, without blinking, said, of course I will. Then they said, yeah, but this presentation has 4 stories of your competitors. Would you give a presentation? Without blinking, Chandra said yes. So that shows that even though they were all competing internally,
Yes.
but when it came to India,
Yes.
they were together. And it reached a point when China was so much, you can say, envy of our industry success, foreign exchange earning, creating jobs, creating tertiary jobs, allowed, and all other segments to come up like retail, real estate, all came up substantially because of our engineers' needs. When that is happening, that kind of change, so they asked Foresters, which was a management consultancy firm at that time, that why don't you give us a master plan to compete with India and go ahead of India. So John McCarthy, who was the CEO of Foresters, he told Chinese Software Association that you cannot compete with India till you create NASSCOM equivalent association.
Wow.
So now you can see that the values with which NASSCOM was built has created such an impact that we avoided country like China probably not compete with us. And that allowed us to grow and invest our money where the markets were instead of fighting competition.
So this is fantastic. I think, you know, the transformation that we are talking about, digital transformation, we can see all these various waves and various ups and downs and challenges to reach a stage that we are enjoying today, a situation or a life that we are enjoying today. And the amount of effort that has gone behind this entire journey. So Harish bhai, you brought TIE, the Indus entrepreneurs in India. And I think that is also a very interesting journey. Yesterday also there was this Shark Tank session and everybody was talking about the future is startup. And you were the one who brought the Silicon Valley organization into India. So this successful formation or nurturing or mentoring of NASSCOM and then bringing another destiny-changing organization, TIE, in the country. What was the thought behind bringing TIE and pushing the entrepreneurship as a concept into you know, various academia, politicians, society at large? What was the thought behind that?
See, look at India. We need to create 90 million jobs over the next 10 years. Our per capita is only $2,000. And our vast problems we have, deep and dark as such, which we all have to work and solve it. To me, the only way that can happen is by creating millions of technopreneurs from India. However, going back to mid-90s, I personally had lost big money in the product game. So I was not keen that India is still not ready. Internet had not come. Indian customers are not ready to try. This enforcement, like copy piracy was rampant. So why would somebody do software development when the piracy is rampant? On top of that, there was no enforcement. You pay money and the enforcement is very weak. Judiciary is very weak. So I was not convinced that India is ready for the product game or the entrepreneurial game from that perspective. Now, Kanwal Rekhi, a famous Silicon Valley angel investor, he was on my board during 90s. And I introduced him to NASSCOM. So he saw in NASSCOM New India emerging. But then when he studied deeper, he said, Harish, but you are getting paid for your sweat, not for your brain. Because we were doing low-end software development work. Western media had classified us as cyber coolie, techno coolies, washing our diapers. We were branded all kinds of names by the Western media in order to discourage us from doing what we were doing. So Kanwal Rekhi was very keen that we get into the product game or the entrepreneurship game. And India was not ready. But in 98, one of my friends, Sridhar, who was living in Silicon Valley, he said, Harish, my real estate owner wants me to pay him not the rent, but the stock options of my company. So then that's where I realized maybe India is missing out big in terms of what is happening. The .com boom, which was in the late 90s in USA, we must find a way to bring in the, and we'll see what challenges are. And then I asked Kanwal, let's bring Thai to India. And that's where we brought Thai into the country.
That's a phenomenal part. So is why I think we are running out of time. So I would only say, friends, that we are ending now.
So just I had to one
Sure.
last sentence that I would like all of you. I said in the beginning, Sharu Rangnekar said that this is a country where you are a first-class citizen, second-class country, and third-class administration. I would like all of us to work to make India a first-class citizen, first-class country, and first-class administration. Thank you.
So in conclusion, I would say, बहुत से लोग बस अपने दुखों के गीत गाते हैं. बहुत से लोग बस अपने दुखों के गीत गाते हैं. दिवाली हो या होली हो, सदा मातम मनाते हैं. पर दुनिया उन्हीं की रागिनी पर झूमती हरदम. दुनिया उन्हीं की रागिनी पर झूमती हरदम जो जलती चिता पर बैठकर बीना बजाते हैं. So thank you very much, Jito. Thank you very much, Harish Bhai, for the honor of talking to you and bringing the nuances of digital revolution, digital transformation in India. Thank you so much.
By the way, I
Over to
forgot to thank Pooja for bringing both of us here. Thank you, Jito, also.
Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you. I would request you to please stay back. And with this, that was, I think, a great session. इनके लिए जोरदार तालियां हो जाए, please. और इसी के साथ मैं बुलाना चाहूँगी स्टेज पे मिस्टर धीरज छाजेड़, चेयरमैन जीतो नेशनल यूथ विंग, and Mr. Gaurav Nahar, Chairman JITO Youth Wing Pune, to please felicitate Mr. Harish G. Mehta. A big round of applause for Mr. Harish G. Mehta for coming here and gracing the occasion and motivating so many lives and so many people out here. And on that note, I would request all of you to please applaud for him, for the session. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Pritesh G. Munot, Chief Secretary, JITO Youth Wing Pune, and Mr. Rishabh G. Nahar and Mr. Sanket G. Choria, Director JITO Youth Wing Pune, to please come on the stage and felicitate Shri Rajiv G. Vaishnav.
We would also like Chakorji Gandhi to come on stage.
So people who are making noise, I'm liking it. You can make it more, some more. Perfect. So I can see a lot of people loving and adoring our speakers. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you. And now, I would like to invite Mr. Chetan G. Bhatia to please come on the stage and introduce YBN and the announcement of the film that you guys have made of YBN. इनके लिए जोरदार तालियां, please. So I can see a lot of people already love you. What can be the reason?
So they love me. They love me. Thank you. Jai Jinendra and a very good afternoon to everyone. I, Chetan Bhatia, welcome all the dignitaries and all of you present here today. We have had a great insight on digital transformation and how it can impact our businesses in the times to come, and how we should and how we can overcome and use this to our benefit. In these fast changing times, with every second bringing new technologies and business disruptions, one thing which remains constant and yields best result is networking. In simple terms, we can say networking is still the king of businesses. Networking often begins with a single point of common ground. Just like you might have heard, your elderly or parents might say, "Ye mere masa ke mama ka bhatija hai." So that is also a network. There is a famous quote by Zach Ziglar, which says, "You can have everything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want." JBN India has done a business of more than 100 crores since inception, and we aim to settle nothing more less than 500 crores in the year 2022-23. Out of this 100 crores, 10 crore itself has been transacted amongst the youth members of JBN Pune in the last 12 months. To show how JBN works and how networking along with technical and digital transformation can do wonders to our lives and businesses, our team members have made a short film whose teaser I'm sure you might have seen for the past few days. And for your information, I would like to tell you, the movie has been directed and produced by our JBN members, and to top it all, the actors in the movie are also our JBN members. So here I present to you all the film. Thank you.
तो ये कहानी है अजय जी कोठारी की, जिन्होंने भवानी सुपरमार्केट की शुरुआत सन 1986 में की थी। चलिए अब देखते हैं अजय जी के बेटे हर्षल कोठारी ने भवानी सुपरमार्केट को आगे लाने का सफर कैसे तय किया।
अरे लीजिए अंकल, ये आपके लिए।
अरे वाह, मिठाई। पर दिवाली को तो टाइम है अभी।
अरे अंकल, आज मेरा ग्रेजुएशन हुआ है। अच्छा।
वाह बेटा, इवेंट इतने जल्दी खत्म हो गया।
हाँ पापा।
मेरा आशीर्वाद तो हमेशा तेरे साथ है।
अब आप मुझे ये बताइए कि मैं दुकान पर कब से आऊँ?
नहीं बेटा, दुकान पे तो तू नहीं बैठेगा।
पर पापा, मैं आपका इकलौता वारिस हूँ।
चुप कर नौटंकी, दुकान संभालने के लिए ये सब है ना। तू जा, दुनिया देख। अभी मैं जिंदा हूँ, जब तेरी जरूरत होगी ना तो तुझे बुला लूंगा।
ठीक है पापा, जैसा आप कहे। मैं चलता हूँ।
देखो अजय भाई, ये आप गलत कर रहे हो। थोड़ी तो लगाम रखो, बेटा बाहर जाएगा तो हाथ से निकल जाएगा।
अरे परेश भाई, मेरी तो पूरी जिंदगी यहाँ निकल गई और अभी उसकी उम्र ही क्या है। थोड़ा बाहर जाएगा, दुनिया देखेगा, तभी तो नया कुछ सीखेगा।
देखो, मेरा काम था, मैंने कह दिया, बाकी आप देख लो। चलो, मैं भी चलता हूँ अभी।
Jai Jinendra, I am Sagar, your host for today. We meet here at JITO Business Network to help our businesses grow and connect too. So let's begin the meeting by introducing ourselves.
Hi, I'm Snehal. I'm into catering business.
I'm Abhishek and I'm a professional photographer.
I'm Piyush and she is my partner Anshuma. We are architects and interior designers.
Shraddha here, your Desi style partner, representing Manali Fashion Studio.
My name is Harshal and I'm representing my business, Bhavani General Store.
Hi, my name is Isha and I am the founder at Khushiya Events.
Thank you so much everyone, and the next meeting starts now.
वाओ, यहाँ पर कितना कुछ सीखने मिल रहा है। तो ऐसे बढ़ते हैं कनेक्ट्स, और ये सब कनेक्ट्स मुझे आगे जाके कितना काम आ सकते हैं। सही कहते हैं पापा, बिजनेस सीखना है तो बाहर जाओ, लोगों से मिलो।
हेलो। अरे नमस्कार, रामू काका मिस्त्री जी बात कर रहे हो ना?
हाँ हाँ, कौन बोल रहा है?
अरे हम अजय कोठारी शहर से बात कर रहे हैं।
हाँ बोलिए साहब, क्या काम है?
हमें दुकान रेनोवेट कराना था।
अच्छा तो कराइए ना, हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। रखे फोन।
अरे काका, आप करोगे रेनोवेट?
अच्छा वैसा क्या साहब, आप इतना कह रहे हैं तो हम कर लेंगे, लेकिन एक ही दिक्कत है साहब, ये हम दिवाली के बाद ही कर पाएंगे।
क्या दिवाली के बाद? अच्छा ठीक है, मैं सोच के कॉल करता हूँ आपको।
ठीक है साहब।
अरे पापा, सब ठीक? अरे पापा बताओ ना, क्या हुआ?
बेटा वो दिवाली आ रही है ना, सोचा अपने शॉप का रिनोवेशन करा देते हैं, पर उसकी इतनी सारी तैयारी और किससे कराना है, मुझे तो बहुत टेंशन हो रही है।
अरे पापा इतनी सी बात, मेरे JBN कनेक्ट ग्रुप वाले हैं ना, मैं तुरंत उनसे बात करता हूँ, एक VR बना देता हूँ, ऑनलाइन कलर कॉम्बिनेशंस, फर्नीचर प्लेसमेंट्स वो सब डिसाइड कर लेते हैं, एक लेआउट आ जाएगा और घर बैठे बैठे अपना काम तुरंत शुरू हो जाएगा।
ये सब क्या कह रहा है तू? ऑनलाइन रंग चूस, VR, घर बैठे बैठे काम शुरू? मुझे तो ये कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है।
पापा मैं हूं ना, सब संभाल लूंगा, आप बेफिक्र रहिए। एक काम करता हूँ, मैं तुरंत ही JBN ग्रुप पे मैसेज भी कर देता हूँ और अपना काम तुरंत शुरू हो जाएगा।
ठीक है बेटा, तू देख ले।
आइए आइए आइए। तो ये है हमारी दुकान और पापा की इच्छा है कि दिवाली के पहले इसे रेनोवेट करना है। तो अंशुमा जी बताइए, हम यहाँ क्या कर सकते हैं?
So this is quite a good space. सिर्फ ये जो बोरियां हैं इसके लिए विल मेक वन स्टोरेज। यहाँ पे पूरा अपन डिस्प्ले एरिया बनाएंगे। Just few more lights and one good cash counter with some display. This will look fabulous.
पर ये दिवाली के पहले हो तो जाएगा ना?
I'll share some options with you. फिक्र मत करो, हो जाएगा, don't worry.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
अरे पापा, अभी तो दुकान के रेनोवेशन का काम भी हो चुका है, तो अभी आपको और क्या परेशानी है?
हर्षल, मुझे तेरे पे पूरा भरोसा है कि वो सब तो तू संभाल ही लेगा, पर इतने कम टाइम में ओपनिंग की तैयारी क्या पता कैसे होगा।
पापा, अपने कपड़ों से लेकर केटरिंग तक मैं सब संभाल लूंगा। मैं तुरंत ही मेरे JBN वालों को फोन लगा देता हूँ और मेरा काम शुरू भी कर देता हूँ। हेलो, हाय ईशा, हर्षल हियर।
हाय हर्षल।
एक्चुअली मैं थोड़ा अर्जेंसी में कॉल किया है, मेरे शॉप का ओपनिंग है 4 दिनों में, तो मुझे वहाँ पर थोड़े अरेंजमेंट्स करवाने थे और डेकोरेशन भी करवाना था, तो कैन यू प्लीज डू इट फॉर मी?
अरे डेफिनेटली आई हेल्प यू विद दैट। आई विल शेयर सम रेफरेंसेस विद यू, चेक देम आउट एंड मुझे इवेंट्स के सारे डिटेल्स एंड एक्सेट्रा सेंड कर देना, सो आई विल पर्सनली लुक इनटू इट।
यस ईशा, मैं डिटेल्स एंड टाइम आपको अभी तुरंत सेंड कर देता हूँ। बट ईशा लिसन यार, सिर्फ 4 दिन बचे हैं, पक्का हो तो जाएगा ना यार?
अरे हाँ हर्षल, आप JBN मेंबर हो, आपके लिए तो इतना कर ही सकती हूँ मैं।
थैंक यू सो मच ईशा।
हेलो।
हेलो स्नेहल जी, हर्षल बोल रहा हूँ, आपके पास 2 मिनट है?
बोलो हर्षल।
वो कैसा है, मेरे शॉप का ओपनिंग है, तो मुझे उसके लिए बेस्ट केटरिंग सर्विस चाहिए, तो इसीलिए मैंने आपको कॉल किया है।
बोलो क्या मेन्यू रखना है, कब है फंक्शन, कितने लोग आ रहे हैं?
हाँ, ये डिटेल्स मैं आपको सब भेज दूंगा, बट प्लीज़ आप संभाल लेना।
हर्षल, तुम्हारा फंक्शन मतलब मेरा फंक्शन, समझो, हो जाएगा।
थैंक यू सो मच स्नेहल जी। अभी मैं कपड़ों का इंतजाम कर देता हूँ। या हाय श्रद्धा, हर्षल योर।
Hi Harshal, how are you?
आई एम गुड, हाउ आर यू?
I'm good, tell me, बताओ।
ओके, सो बेसिकली श्रद्धा, मेरे न्यू शॉप का रेनोवेशन हुआ है, सो वी हैव केप्ट ओपनिंग फॉर इट, एंड मुझे उसके लिए कपड़े बनवाए थे मेरे एम्प्लॉयज़ एंड मेरे फैमिली मेम्बर्स के लिए। दे आर गोइंग टू बी प्योरली एथनिक क्लोथ्स, तो क्या आप प्लीज़ बनवा सकते हैं?
हाँ, हो जाएगा। I'll share a few designs with you. You can go through them.
बट श्रद्धा यार, सिर्फ 4 दिन है मेरे पास।
Don't worry हर्षल, मैं आज ही टेलर को भेज देती हूँ।
थैंक यू सो मच श्रद्धा।
हेलो।
हाँ स्नेहल बोलिए, सब ठीक?
हाँ, कल की सब तैयारी हो गई है, मेनू एकदम मस्त सेट है। अभी मुझे एकदम मस्त मेरे फूड की फोटोग्राफी चाहिए कल।
ओह यार स्नेहल, मैं फोटोग्राफर बुक करना तो भूल ही गया हूँ।
अरे फोटोग्राफर बुक करना भूल गया? कोई नहीं, JPN में अभिषेक है, उसको जल्दी से फ़ोन करो।
ओह थैंक यू सो मच स्नेहल, मैं तुरंत उसको कॉल करता हूँ।
यस हर्षल।
अभिषेक भाई, आप बिजी हो क्या? मुझे थोड़ा सा अर्जेंट काम था।
नहीं बोलो।
वो एक्चुअली क्या हो गया था, कल मेरे शॉप का ओपनिंग है और मैं जल्दबाजी में फोटोग्राफर बुक करना ही भूल गया था। तो आप कल प्लीज़ मेरे लिए टीम अरेंज कर सकते हो क्या अभिषेक भाई?
अरे डोंट वरी हर्षल भाई, डेफिनेटली अरेंज हो जाएगा। आई विल बी देयर फॉर यू, फर्स्ट मिनट हो या लास्ट मिनट। JBN मेंबर्स आर ऑलवेज ऑन द प्रायोरिटी। ओके
थैंक यू भाई, थैंक यू सो मच यार, आपने आज बचा दिया।
वाह अजय भाई वाह, क्या दुकान, क्या सेटअप, एकदम झकास।
अरे ये सब काम मेरे बेटे और उसके ग्रुप वालों ने संभाला है, मैंने कुछ नहीं किया।
हर्षल क्या किया ऐसा?
अरे अंकल सिंपल है, जीतो एक बिजनेस नेटवर्क ग्रुप है जहाँ पर हम कनेक्ट की मीटिंग्स करते हैं, नए लोगों से मिलते हैं, नई बातें सीखते हैं। और अंकल ये सब करेंगे तभी तो बिजनेस आगे बढ़ेगा ना। अगर मेरे पास आज जीतो के कनेक्ट्स नहीं होते तो क्या ये दुकान बनती? क्या ये दुकान का रेनोवेशन होता? क्या ये मैनेजमेंट होता? स्पेशली आपको बहुत थैंक यू डैड, आपने मुझे चांस दिया कि मैं बाहर जाकर जीतो की मीटिंग्स अटेंड कर सकूं और इसी वजह से आज ये सब मुमकिन हो पाया है। सो अंकल दिस इज व्हाई आई स्टैंड विद जीतो।
आई नहीं, वी स्टैंड विद जीतो।
And we stand with JITO. That was a beautiful film. A big round of applause for all the actors who participated. What fabulous acting you guys did, huh? Very good acting, very good direction. Ek baar zordar taale for all our actors, our director. And this book is, the book that we have launched is available at Rohit Enterprises Express Book Service at East Street Camp next to Chinese Room. और इसी के साथ आगे बढ़ते हुए मैं बुलाना चाहूँगी स्टेज पे Mr. Vishal G. Jain, MD Accenture, to give the introduction of Mr. Rajneesh Jain, CFO, Reliance Jio Infocom Limited. So can we applaud for Mr. Vishal Jain, please? Can we applaud for Mr. Vishal Jain? Some applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Youth Wing, you did a rocking show. Wow. And all of you were talking and networking. There was one thing there. What was it? There was a phone. And you were talking about Jio network. And here we have CFO of Reliance Jio with us. So I'll come back to that. So it's my privilege to really just set the context for this session. My name is Vishal Jain. I work in Accenture as Managing Director. And I'm also in my JITO capacity part of JITO Professional Forum, where we run the mentorship program for connecting aspiring and curious professionals with accomplished ones. So that is something I think you should know to leverage for your networking and connecting with each other. So let me give introduction of Mr. Rajneesh Jain. It's our pleasure to have him with us. Rajneesh ji is the Chief Financial Officer and President of Reliance Jio. And Reliance, just to give you a sense, Reliance Jio is expected to cross much more than even $100 billion of valuation. And it's a fantastic India growth story. And that's the session is about. It's about India growth story. He's going to talk about that. Rajneesh ji is a cost and management accountant, commerce graduate from St. Xavier, Kolkata. He has been with Reliance for the last couple of decades. And before that, he worked in Ispat, Indorama Synthetics. He has a wide experience and he's supporting Reliance Jio in commercial function as a strategic partner and influencing growth. And he has received multiple industry recognitions, and there are so many of them. To give you a sense, awarded Best CMA CFO, Asia's 100 Powerful Leaders in Finance 2022, India's 50 Best Finance Leaders 2021, 20 Most Influential CFOs, CFO Power List 2020, CFO of the Year 2019, CFO of the Year 2018, and so many more. And he has been in the many industry association, and he is a thought leader. And in my own capacity, I am very inspired and touched the way he connects the professional journey and a business journey, which is so successful, with the spiritual side of Jainism. And he writes regularly on LinkedIn. I'm certainly his follower. And I relate to his journey, and I really wish that we spend more time with him. So with that, let me introduce and let me invite Rajneesh ji here to talk about India growth story. Rajneesh ji, please join us here on stage. Please put your hands together for Rajneesh ji. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think we do not have the collar mic. We have to go with this. Are you fine with this?
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Keep this also. Good evening, everyone, and Jai Jinendra to all. Thank you. I just want everybody to settle down, and then I'll start. In the meantime, the presentation will be on. So let's wait for maybe 60 seconds. Vishal, is it? So friends, today we are going to talk about India's growth story. The story is about you, me, and all of us. It is about perseverance. It is about opportunities. It is about rise of Indian economy. It is about our Mother India on Mother's Day. So, in fact, I just want to pay my respect to all the mothers who are there, because this is a story about Mother India. What you see, a man is not poor without a rupee, but a man is really poor without a dream and ambition. A very, very powerful statement. What it typically conveys is, अगर आपके पास पैसा नहीं है तो आप गरीब नहीं हैं. आप गरीब तब हैं जब आपके पास रिसोर्सेज हैं और आप उन रिसोर्सेज को इस्तेमाल नहीं करते. आपके पास हुनर है और आप उस हुनर का इस्तेमाल नहीं करते, उसको इग्नोर कर देते हैं, तब आप गरीब हैं. And this is what I am going to depict to you, that how knowledge has become the true capital. You don't require money in your pocket, you require only the brain. And if you have got brains, you can earn money. here we go. So typically what we are going to do is, we are going to take a step back and see how far we have come and what we have really achieved in the last 2 years. And by the way, those last 2 years were the COVID period. I think a very, very familiar slide with all of you. I don't want to talk much about it because it really talks of the miseries that we faced. It was the largest pandemic in the last 100 years, partial shutdown of businesses and economy, panic and uncertainty, loss of human lives, and restricted movement. But what happened? Within the first few months, 24% drop in GDP over the period April to June 2020. Average individual income dropped by about 40% in April to May 2020. Average per capita income consumption, it fell by over 20%. US oil prices nosedived into negative, and more than 16,000 people fell victim to COVID by the end of 2020. So this was an impact which was felt by everybody in the society. लेकिन हमने क्या किया? ये सारी चीजें तो gloomy picture show करती हैं, but now look at our India story. How did India respond? With Atmanirbharta. In fact, there was a lot of doubt on India's capabilities to handle a pandemic situation in a scale of 130 crores population. All the eyes were on India. आपने देखा होगा लोग अटकलें लगा रहे थे कि भारतवर्ष कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा, ये पैंडेमिक मैनेज नहीं कर पाएगा. But what really happened? India developed own indigenous COVID-19 vaccine. I think what we have really done in terms of development of COVID-19 vaccine really requires an applause from all of you for all the Indians who have done it. There was technology innovations to facilitate appointments and issue digital vaccine certificate. I'm sure you know ये example आपने भी देखा होगा. मेरे पास live example है. मेरे एक US के friend थे. He had actually come to India when this COVID was more or less better. उस समय मैं Reliance में in RCP, I was running one of the biggest vaccine operation for all the employees. Believe me, जब ये मैं vaccine operation run कर रहा था for all the employees, I was amazed by the platform that was created. What was the platform? It was CoWIN platform. And उस platform में आपने भी देखा होगा कि certificate immediately आ जाता है. जब तक आप बाहर जाते हैं, तब तक आपका certificate आपके pocket में होता है. But was this possible in US? Unfortunately, it was not. वहाँ manual certificate issue होता था. So, if you look at the way India behaved, they were producing digital certificates. US, which is the topmost, kind of nation in the world, they were giving manual certificate. And now, I think you should all be proud of the kind of digitization that we have done, of kind of growth that we have done over the years. CoWIN की बात करें, in fact, ये जो CoWIN application है, when we really created an open source, there were 172 countries which wanted to take CoWIN. So just see the kind of platform that we have created. But the biggest thing that I liked is we developed self-reliance in PPE kits production, producing 4.5 lakh kits per day in just 4 months. आपने देखा होगा कि शुरू में PPE kits available नहीं थे. सबने grow किया, small scale industries grow की, बड़े-बड़े enterprises ने help की, and ultimately within 4 months we became self-sufficient. So that is the power of India. And उसके बाद अगर हमें लगता है as a nation we have not grown, then probably we are not correct. As a nation, what we have seen that जब adversity आती है, then nobody performs better than what India performs. We are best when there is adversity. आई एम फ्रॉम फिनेंस, सो कुछ नंबर तो बनते ही हैं. सो नंबर्स देखिए, approximately 190 crores doses were given. 190 crores doses were given. Approximately 86 crore people fully vaccinated. Approximately 18 crore doses were exported. So we did it for ourselves. We also did it for others. We also exported approximately 18 crore vaccines. COVID went into open source. 172 countries showed interest. And from importing kits in January for local demand, India in July 2020 exported 23 lakhs kits to 5 nations. And these are the numbers which tells you about the India's growth story. So 3 cheers for India, because I will actually ask you to cheer India. This is India's growth story. This is our growth story. Moving on, मेरे फ्रेंड है विशाल, काफ़ी स्पिरिचुअल है. इनफैक्ट इन द लास्ट सेशन I could actually taste his, kind of knowledge on spirituality. But एक चीज़ मैं ये नहीं मानता कि सब धर्मों से हमें कुछ ना कुछ मिला है. But being an Indian, जो सबसे बड़ी चीज़ हमें मिली है वो है वासुदेवा कुटुंबकम. ये जो परिवार का प्रोसेस है, ये जो परिवार की थिंकिंग है, ये सबसे बड़ी पूर्वजों की भारतवर्ष को देन है, इंडियंस को देना है. एंड शायद हम काफ़ी सारी मुसीबतें मैनेज कर पाते हैं इसीलिए बिकॉज हम कुटुंब में रहते हैं, हम परिवार में रहते हैं. जीटो भी एक परिवार है और आपने इस परिवार की पावर आज देख ली है, पिछले 3 दिन से देख रहे हैं. देयर इज टॉक ऑफ जीटो ऑल अराउंड. लेट मी टेल यू, नॉट ओनली इन इंडिया बट ऑल्सो अब्रॉड. दिस इज द पावर ऑफ कुटुंबकम एंड दिस इज वॉट वासुदेवा कुटुंबकम for all of you. JITO has shown that and they have led the way. Approximately 11,000 crores money was donated by Indian in PM Cares Fund. 11,000 करोड़. और इस देश को आप गरीब देश मानते हैं? जब ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो ये अपनी अर्निंग से भी लोगों को दे देते हैं. And this is what is showing up that around 11,000 crores were donated by Indians in the PM Care Fund. I am sure आज काफ़ी ज़्यादा सदस्य दिख नहीं रहे यहाँ पे, but I am sure पिछले 3 दिनों में कोई ना कोई यहाँ पे ज़रूर होगा, because this is about what JITO has done during the COVID time. और इसमें से कुछ फोटोज़ के साथ आप भी परिचित होंगे. What JITO did, Oxygen on Wheels initiative. Funds were raised in Ahmedabad to distribute food packet, PPE kits and medicine. COVID care center was opened in Hyderabad. Initiatives were taken across India. But one example, particularly I was very impressed, is the one here. I don't know whether all of you have seen this or not, but I was particularly impressed by a Gurgaon-based Hemkund Foundation with its 100+ volunteers became an example of selfless service during COVID. They helped 10,000 people. They built makeshift center with capacity for 700 patients. They had mini centers with oxygen concentrators. They drive-through initiative. And let me tell you, the drive-through initiative was providing oxygen to patients inside the vehicle. They were actually providing oxygen to the patients while they were in the vehicle, and that is why this particular organization is very, very close to my heart for the work that they did during COVID time. Now, काफ़ी COVID की बात हो गई. What is the change landscape in the post-COVID world? तो हमने क्या देखा? थोड़ी सी पिक्चर आपको क्लियर नहीं होगी, बट वो मैं चाहता हूँ आपको पिक्चर क्लियर ना हो. मैं क्यों चाहता हूँ आपको पिक्चर क्लियर नहीं हो? बिकॉज मेरी जितनी डिजिटाइजेशन स्टोरी है वो एक स्लाइड में छिपी हुई है. दिस इज माई एंटायर डिजिटाइजेशन स्टोरी. अगर आप देखें, यहाँ पे शॉप है यहाँ पे मॉल है, यहाँ पे बैंक है, यहाँ पे ग्रोसरी शॉप है, यहाँ पे ई कॉमर्स है, यहाँ पे स्कूल्स हैं, यहाँ पे कॉलेजेस हैं, ये सारी की सारी चीज़ें इस पिक्चर में हैं। एंड बाय द वे एवरीथिंग इज़ रनिंग डिजिटली, कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं है जो डिजिटली चल नहीं रही। तो पिछले सेशन में आपने जो डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन स्टोरी देखी, ये डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन स्टोरी का जीता जागता उदाहरण है दैट इंडिया हैज़ बिकम फुल्ली डिजिटल नाउ। अब इनफैक्ट हम डिजिटल के एक स्टेप ऊपर जा रहे हैं। एज टाइम कम आई विल टेल यू वेयर वी आर गोइंग बियॉन्ड डिजिटाइजेशन, बट दिस इज़ हाउ it has played a very important role as an integral part of the daily routine activities. Digitization has become the way of life. क्या ट्रांसफॉर्म हुआ? I think to all the youngsters, I just want to ask, what has really transformed? What has transformed is unified payment interface. And if you really see world's largest real-time payment market, improving financial inclusion at the rate of 5% cumulative annual growth rate, UPI for feature phone including 40 crores new user, digital payment transactions increased from 1,000 crore in financial year 2016-17 to 5,554 crores in financial year 2021. I think it is an amazing story. And if I just want to tell you what really happened, what were the major initiatives taken as a part of digital mission? Coordination with bank, coordination with ministries, department and state, incentive scheme, if you remember, Bheem cashback scheme for individuals and merchant, Bheem Aadhaar merchant incentive, then internationalization of indigenous digital payment solution, which is RuPay card and UPI, digital payment dashboard, promotion and awareness of digital payment. In fact, आप सोशल मीडिया डेफिनेटली फॉलो करते हैं। सोशल मीडिया में आपने देखा होगा कि एक कंपैरिजन आती है ऑन द डिजिटल पेमेंट पार्ट। In fact, there was a comparison with China. Sunil ji, if you remember, there was a comparison with China where they really showed that China is far ahead in terms of digital payment as compared to India. In 5 years, just in 5 years, we have not only matched China, we have almost exceeded China. This is the power of digitization. In fact, what I really want to communicate through the India's growth story is what we have done phenomenally in 2 years actually has laid a very good foundation, and now we can extrapolate over the period, and this is what I will show you in the subsequent slides. One of my favorite, अगर जियो ना होता तो कोविड के समय बहुत ही हालत खराब होती। आप कुछ नहीं कर पाते, आप बिल्कुल कुछ नहीं कर पाते। आपका ऑफिस घर में आ गया, आपके बच्चों की एजुकेशन घर में आ गई, आपकी दाल रोटी सब्जी डायरेक्टली घर में पहुंचने लगी, और तो और आप जो फ्रेंड्स मिलते थे वो भी ऑनलाइन मिलना शुरू हो गए। मैंने ये भी देखा कि तंबोला भी ऑनलाइन खेला जाता था। This is what has helped. In fact, that is why I am saying if this digitization was not there, I think it would have been extremely difficult to pass those 2 years, and those 2 years would have become one of the most difficult period of our life. Thanks to the initiative, thanks to digitization, thanks to Prime Minister's mission of Digital India, thanks to companies like Jio and many others, probably we have been able to come out of this COVID-19 or COVID-20 or COVID-21 in style, and now we are really on the road to reforms. समय थोड़ा सा कम है, शायद इतना डिटेल में आपको नहीं बता पाऊँ। मैं नॉर्मली ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को पहले ही पूछ लेता हूँ कि 15 मिनट से लेके 150 मिनट तक समय आप तय करिए, लेकिन जो भी आप समय करेंगे उस समय के मैं आगे नहीं जाऊँगा। तो इसीलिए हो सकता है कुछ चीज़ें मैं पूरी नहीं बता पाऊँ जो मैं बताना चाहता हूँ, बट ऑब्वियसली आई एम ऑलवेज अवेलेबल ऑन लिंक्डइन And if you want any kind of clarification, queries, you can always call me anytime. I ensure that I do not go to sleep till the time I have replied to all my mails that come from office. They are almost 600 in numbers. All the messages that come on LinkedIn, and by the way, they are also hundreds in numbers. And if there's any other mechanism, जब लोग मुझे कॉल करते हैं तो हो सकता है वीसी के समय में वो कॉल नहीं ले पाऊँ, बट उसके बाद मैं इंश्योर करता हूँ कि सोने के पहले उनकी कॉल भी रिटर्न करता हूँ. So this is what it is. So if you have got any further clarification, you can always come back to me. This is the next section, which is Rise of New India. अब आप इस राइज का देखिए, कितने लोगों ने प्राइम मिनिस्टर मिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी का जो ऑनलाइन संवाद था वो सुना था? प्लीज रेज योर हैंड. आई जस्ट वांट टू नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ रियली लिसन टू दैट. They are not many. They are not many. I still find it is just, and again arithmetic में थोड़ा सा strong हो, ये करीब 50% लोगों ने हाथ उठाया, यानी 50% लोगों ने वो नहीं देखा है. अगर आपने नहीं देखा तो वो 20 या 25 मिनट का वीडियो है, आप ज़रूर देखें. मेरे ख्याल उसमें जो संवाद जीटो के लिए किया गया, it is extremely important, and all of you would like it. And why I am saying this, the entire digitization, the government led from the front. If you just look at this slide, पहला क्या है लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में? You have got JAM Trinity. In fact, Prime Minister ने भी JAM Trinity की बात की थी. And what is JAM Trinity? JAM. So J is basically your Jan Dhan योजना, जो गवर्नमेंट की जन धन योजना थी. A is for आधार कार्ड, M is for mobile. So JAM Trinity of the government is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile. नीचे अगर आप देखें, you have got DigiLocker, you have Aadhaar KYC and you have e-sign. ये भी गवर्नमेंट के हैं. राइट हैंड साइड अगर आप देखें ऊपर, माई गवर्नमेंट, ई क्रांति, डिजी सेवक, ये भी गवर्नमेंट के इनिशिएटिव हैं. और अगर आप नीचे आएँ तो मुद्रा लोन, PM डिजिटल साक्षरता अभियान एंड भीम, ये भी गवर्नमेंट के इनिशिएटिव हैं. अब आप कहें, जहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट खुद लीड्स इन द फ्रंट एंड क्रिएट समथिंग लाइक आत्मनिर्भर भारत और डिजिटल इंडिया, तो बाकी सब फॉलो ना करें, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. सो इन फैक्ट 3 cheers टू द गवर्नमेंट फॉर द इनिशिएटिव्स दैट दे हैव टेकन इन their जर्नी फॉर डिजिटल इंडिया. माई नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. ये नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में जो छोटी छोटी चीज़ें दिख रही हैं, ये क्या हैं? ये सारे यूनिकॉर्न्स हैं. ये सारे यूनिकॉर्न वो कंपनीज है जो $1 बिलियन कंपनी बन चुकी है. और अभी कुछ दिन पहले 100वां यूनिकॉर्न इंडिया का बन चुका है. हर एक यूनिकॉर्न, हर एक 8 दिन में इंडिया एक यूनिकॉर्न बनाता है. एंड दिस इज इंडियाज ग्रोथ स्टोरी. आपने देखा होगा कि बीच में मैंने कुछ जगह छोड़ दी है. ये जगह मैंने किस लिए छोड़ी है? ये जगह मैंने इसलिए छोड़ी कि शायद ये जो लोग यहाँ पे बैठे हैं, आप सब लोग यहाँ पे बैठे हैं, स्पेशली माय यूथ फ्रेंड्स, ये उस जगह को भरेंगे. तो जब आप ये जगह फिलअप कर दें तो आप मुझे ज़रूर कॉल करें, मैं ये स्लाइड अपडेट कर दूंगा. एक्सट्रीमली इम्पॉर्टेंट. ये सारी चीज़ें आप अपने साथ में लेके जाएं. 65,861 are the recognized startups in India. 65,861 are the recognized startups in India. कितना जॉब क्रिएट किया स्टार्टअप्स ने? 7 लाख जॉब्स हैव बीन क्रिएटेड बाय स्टार्टअप. 100 यूनिकॉर्न की टोटल वैल्यू कितनी है? $333 बिलियन. और जैसे मैंने कहा, हर एक 8 दिन में एक यूनिकॉर्न इंडिया में बनता है. सो अगले 8 दिन में मे बी शुभम, धीरज, आप लोग डिसाइड करें आप में से कौन यूनिकॉर्न बनने वाला है. बट देन आई पर्सनली बिलीव that you all have the capability to become the next unicorn of the country, because आपने जो पिछली वीडियो शो में दिखाया, that was really amazing, and that really shows that, you know, the country is on the right path. The fact that, you know, we really have believed in our youth, we have done well, and India is going to become big only because of the demographic part, because सबसे youngest population India की होगी, और because India की सबसे youngest population होगी, obviously they have good ideas, they have big ideas, and they are the one who can create more and more startup. तो ये जो 65,000 startup देख रहे हैं, I am sure in couple of months we are going to cross 1 lakh startups in India only, and probably ये unicorn की speed जो 8 दिन की है, ये भी कम होने वाली है. अब आप मुझे कहेंगे, in fact, you know, I had come for the youth festival कुछ 3-4 साल पहले, या तब मैंने जियो की ग्रोथ स्टोरी बताई थी. आज मैं थोड़ा स्केल अप कर गया, अब जियो की ग्रोथ स्टोरी से मैं इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी बता रहा हूँ. और क्यों मैं इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी बता रहा हूँ? बिकॉज आई हैव सीन एग्जाम्पल्स, आई हैव बीन कनेक्टेड विद JITO now for almost 4 or 5 years, and I've taken many sessions, I've talked to all of them. I've really seen the kind of enthusiasm the people have, and because they have a lot of good brains, I'm sure they are the one who are best suited to create startups, and therefore you are the one who can actually create unicorn. So you will ask me कि सर हम यूनिकॉर्न कैसे बनाएं, हम क्या करें ताकि यूनिकॉर्न बने? आप वो सब करते रहिए जो आप कर रहे हैं, बट कुछ ऐसा भी करिए. Very important slide for all my youngster friends, young friend to really take. अब इंडिया में आपके लिए पूरा प्लेटफॉर्म ओपन है, आप जो चाहे वो कर सकते हैं. आपको कॉमर्स में इंटरेस्ट है, आप B2B कॉमर्स में जाइए. आपको कंज्यूमर ब्रांड्स अच्छी लगती हैं, आप एग्रीगेटर बन जाइए. आपको एड्स अच्छे लगते हैं तो आप एडटेक में चले जाइए, मोबाइल एड्स बनाइए. आपको कंटेंट अच्छा लगता है, कुछ ना कुछ स्टोरी लिखना अच्छा लगता है, तो यू कैन गो टू न्यूज़ एंड लॉक स्क्रीन. आपको अगर D2C अच्छा लगता है, पर्सनल केयर, कंज्यूमेबल्स, ये सारी चीज़ें अच्छी लगती हैं, तो आप डायरेक्ट टू कस्टमर प्लेटफॉर्म में जाइए. ग्रॉसरी, बेबी केयर, घर में. इनफैक्ट यू नो, लेट मी टेल यू, वन ऑफ माई जैन फ्रेंड चित्रंजन, उन्होंने मेरा एक सेशन सुना, और वो सेशन करने के बाद उनकी धर्मपत्नी भी उनके साथ थी. तो उन्होंने कहा कि रजनीश जी, आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंड, मेरी धर्मपत्नी बहुत एंथ्यूज्ड हो गई आपके सेशन से, और उसने कल ही डिसाइड किया है कि वो बिज़नेस स्टार्ट करेगी. वो बिज़नेस उन्होंने किस चीज़ का स्टार्ट किया? उन्होंने नमकीन का बिज़नेस स्टार्ट किया. एंड आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू टेल यू दैट नाउ दैट बिज़नेस इज़ रनिंग वेरी वेरी वेल. सो ये ज़रूरी नहीं आप कौन से बिज़नेस में जाते हैं, जिस भी बिज़नेस में जाते हैं, अगर आप ईमानदारी के साथ जाते हैं, अगर आप पैशन के साथ जाते हैं, वो बिज़नेस सक्सेसफुल होगा, बिकॉज इंडिया इज़ ऑन द राइज. आपको एजुकेशन पसंद है, एडटेक में जाइए. आपको कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं लगता, गेमिंग पसंद है, यू गो टू गेमिंग. Dream11 ऑलरेडी एक यूनिकॉर्न बन चुका है, एंड यू हैव सीन द वैल्यूएशन इज़ $3 billion ऑलरेडी. आपको क्रिप्टो करेंसी अच्छी लगती है, बहुत सारे जेन्स मैंने देखा है क्रिप्टो करेंसी में बड़े इंटरेस्टेड है, तो आप क्रिप्टो करेंसी में जाइए. आपको वर्जिश करना अच्छा लगता है, आप हेल्थ टेक में जाइए. आपको खाना अच्छा लगता है, आप फूड टेक में जाइए. आपको घूमना अच्छा लगता है, आप लॉजिस्टिक्स में जाइए. आपको मैसेजिंग मतलब टाइम पास करना अच्छा लगता है, तो भी आप कमा सकते हैं, आप सोशल मीडिया मैसेजिंग में जाइए. आपको गाड़ियाँ पसंद है तो आप यूज़ कार मार्केट प्लेस में जाइए. आपको प्रॉपटेक पसंद है तो उसमें जाइए. आपको सॉफ्टवेयर पसंद है तो SAS में जाइए, विच इज़ सॉफ्टवेयर एज ए सर्विस. अगर आप फिनेंस पसंद करते हैं तो फिनटेक में जाइए. अब इस हालांकि ये जो स्लाइड है, दिस स्लाइड इज़ ओनली इलस्ट्रेटिव, दिस स्लाइड इज़ नॉट एग्जॉस्टिव. अगर इस स्लाइड के बारे में मैं एक्सप्लेन करना चाहूँ तो पूरा दिन खाली इसी स्लाइड पे लगा सकता हूँ. अभी मैंने कुछ दिया है, अगर आपको लगे कि नहीं आप जो करना चाहते हैं वो इसमें नहीं है, तो अगेन आप मुझे कॉल करें, मैं आपको और 20 दे दूँगा. एंड ऐसा मैं क्यों कहता हूँ? ऐसा मैं इसलिए कहता हूँ, एनीबडी कैन बिकम ए मर्चेंट, ये अमेजन बताता है. एनीबडी कैन बिकम ए टैक्सी ड्राइवर, ये ऊबर बताता है. एनीवन कैन बी अ जर्नलिस्ट, ये ट्विटर बताता है. एनीबडी कैन बी अ डायरेक्टर, ये यूट्यूब बताता है. एनीबडी कैन बी अ होटल ओनर, ये एयरबीएनबी बताता है. एंड एनीबडी कैन लर्न, ये विकिपीडिया बताता है. सो व्हाट इज द समरी ऑफ दिस? एज आई सेड, नॉलेज इज द न्यू कैपिटल. पैसा नहीं चाहिए पॉकेट में, सिर्फ ये चाहिए. अगर आपके पास ये है तो आप बिजनेस कर सकते हैं. आई थिंक आई एम श्योर आफ्टर सीइंग दिस स्लाइड you would have really got enthused that you can definitely do startup. In fact, I take a lot of sessions for IIMs and IITs. And last couple of years I've been taking more because मुझे 2-3 दिन नहीं लगाने पड़ते. पहले क्या था कि आपको वहाँ जाना है, वापस आना है. You have to take 2 or 3 days. अब मैं उनको कहता हूँ कि अगर आपको करना है तो आप ऑनलाइन करिए, और मैं सिर्फ सैटरडे और संडेज देता हूँ, तो वो सैटरडे संडे अरेंज करते हैं. एंड उनको एक चीज़ मैं डेफिनेटली कहता हूँ कि आप ये करने के बाद क्या होगा, आपका कैंपस इंटरव्यू होगा. एंड व्हेन देयर इज़ अ कैंपस इंटरव्यू यू कैन अर्न 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs. हो सकता है कुछ कंपनीज आपको 1 crore भी देंगी. बट अगर आप वो नहीं करके आप रियली सोचते हैं दैट यू हैव समथिंग इन यू टू डू स्टार्टअप, तो आप स्टार्टअप शुरू करिए. इनफैक्ट इन द प्रोसेस यू विल गिव एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू मैनी. And let me tell you, I am very, very happy to announce कि पिछले 2.5 साल में there are 2 people who have come back to me, sir, we have become a $1 million company. 2 साल में. So this is the power of startup, and that is why I wanted to talk to all of you on a Sunday, just to tell you that there is huge opportunity for all of you in this country. एंड अगर इस अपॉर्चुनिटी का बेनिफिट आपने अभी नहीं लिया तो कभी नहीं, अभी नहीं तो कभी नहीं. थोड़ी स्पिरिचुअलिटी पसंद करता हूँ, इसलिए अपरिग्रह की भी बात करता हूँ. और ये इंस्पिरेशन मुझे कहाँ से मिली? ये इंस्पिरेशन अगेन मुझे प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी जी की स्पीच से मिली, जहाँ उन्होंने आपको ये बताया. अगर आप ध्यान से सुने, प्राइम मिनिस्टर मिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी ने आपको क्या कहा था लास्ट 10 मिनट्स में? इफ़ यू रिमेंबर, ही सेड, मैं आपसे एक वादा चाहता हूँ. शायद आप वो सारा वादा भूल गए. नहीं भूले ना? वेरी गुड. आपको उन्होंने कहा था कि आप फॉरेन चीज़ों का बहिष्कार करें. उन्होंने ये भी कहा था कि कम से कम 500 चीज़ें तो डेफिनेटली करके उनको बताएं. और अगर आपने नहीं बताया तो मैं आप सबसे पूछ के जीटो की सारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से डिटेल लेके मैं उनको भेजने वाला हूँ. और ये इसलिए संभव है, इनफैक्ट मेरे कुछ फ्रेंड्स बॉम्बे से भी यहाँ पे हैं, नवी मुंबई से यहाँ पे हैं. आप देखिए, मैं काफ़ी सारे गुरुजनों के साथ संबंध में हूँ. वो भी डिजिटल मीडिया यूज़ करते हैं. हर मॉर्निंग उनका एक संदेश आता है, कुछ व्याख्यान का सारांश आता है, और उस व्याख्यान के सारांश के साथ क्या आता है कि आज आप मूली का त्याग करें, आज आप लड्डू का त्याग करें. सो ये सारी त्याग की बातें आती हैं कि आज आप इस चीज़ का परित्याग करें. अगर ये 500 का नंबर पहुंचना है तो मैं जीटो के माध्यम से कहना चाहता हूं, और शायद कल को गुरुजनों के माध्यम से भी कहूँगा, क्योंकि आई एम लिंक टू मोस्ट ऑफ द जैन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, इररेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द फैक्ट कि मैं श्वेतांबर हूँ, दिगंबर हैं, 13 पंथी हैं, 22 पंथी हैं, सबके साथ चलता हूँ. तो मैं उनको कहने वाला हूँ कि आप सबको कहिए कि जहाँ आप एक फल का त्याग कराते हैं या एक किसी चीज़ का त्याग कराते हैं, एक आप फॉरेन गुड का भी त्याग करें. हर दिन अगर आपने एक फॉरेन आइटम का त्याग कर दिया तो 365 दिन में 365 चीज़ों का त्याग हो जाएगा. 1.5 साल के अंदर 500 चीज़ों का त्याग हो जाएगा. आई एम श्योर 1.5 साल के बाद, 18 महीने के बाद, आई विल सेंड a note to Prime Minister श्री नरेंद्र मोदी saying that आप जीटो में आए थे, आपने जीटो को एड्रेस किया, आपने कहा कि 500 चीज़ों का बहिष्कार करें. उन्होंने 500 चीज़ों का बहिष्कार कर दिया. आप सब करेंगे? अगर आप रियली ये कर सकते हैं तो प्लीज़ हाथ उठा के एटलीस्ट गिव मी ए कंसेंट. आई एम गोइंग टू डू दैट. ऑल ऑफ अस शुड डू दैट. ऑल ऑफ अस शुड डू दैट. Vishal, you have to really take care of the time so that I don't exceed, huh? So what is the way ahead? अब ये प्रॉब्लम आपको कैसे सॉल्व करनी है, आपको पैसा कैसे कमाना है? पैसा कमाने के लिए बड़ी सिंपल सी चीज़ है. You have to identify a problem. Identification करो. Solving problem to improve lives is the unique India-focused business model. That's all. Identify करिए, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करिए, एप्लीकेशन में कन्वर्ट करिए, रेप्लिकेट करिए, आपका बिजनेस मॉडल तैयार है. एंड दैट इज़ वाई आई कॉल इट IT plus IT plus IT. First IT is Indian talent, second IT is information technology, and this is equal to India tomorrow. Indian talent, information technology is India tomorrow. So how that is possible? इसकी 3 कैरेक्टरिस्टिक हैं. पेनफुल होना चाहिए. अगर जब तक पेन नहीं है तब तक गेन नहीं हो सकता. कोई भी चीज़ पेनफुल होनी चाहिए और ये आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना चाहिए कि आपके सारे सदस्य, आपका कुटुंब, आपका परिवार, आपका मोहल्ला, आपके धर्म के लोग, आपकी कम्युनिटी के लोग को कोई चीज़ पेनफुल है. सो वंस यू आइडेंटिफाई इट इज़ पेनफुल, द सेकेंड थिंग you have to identify that it is replicable. The second thing you have to identify that it is replicable. उसका मैग्नीट्यूड बड़ा होना चाहिए. अगर खाली विशाल भाई ने मुझे प्रॉब्लम दी और मैंने विशाल भाई की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर दी तो ये फ्रेंडशिप तो हो जाएगी बट धंधा नहीं होगा. धंधा तभी होगा अगर प्रॉब्लम में ऐसी आइडेंटिफाई करूं जो आप सबको प्रॉब्लम है, उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करूं, उसको रेप्लिकेट करूं, उसके एडिशनल तरीके बताऊं और उससे मेरा एडिशनल रेवेन्यू आएगा. देन ओनली आई विल बी एबल टू अर्न मनी. एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई कॉल बाय रेप्लिकेबल. नीड अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल टू बाय योर प्रोडक्ट. Replicability, able to sell the same product to many people, and that is what some of the companies like PayPal and all of them have done. मेरे फ्रेंड मिस्टर पुनीत चौधरी कह रहे थे कि रजनीश भाई आप जब यहाँ पे आए आप इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी बताएं, लेकिन आपकी ग्रोथ स्टोरी कंप्लीट नहीं होगी अगर आप 5G की बात ना करें तो. आई सेड फाइन. सो इंडिया की ग्रोथ स्टोरी 5G के बगैर वैसे भी पूरी नहीं हो सकती. सो दिस इज़ द 5G ट्रायंगल. 5G ट्रायंगल क्या आएगा? लो लेटेंसी, 1 मिलीसेकेंड लेटेंसी. स्पीड कितनी रहेगी? 1 GB तो ऑलरेडी आता ही है. इट विल गो अप टू 20 GB. In fact, it will go up to the trillion GB also. IoT is 1 million device connection per kilometer square. 1 million device connection per kilometer square. This is what 5G is going to do. And जब आप 5G लगा लेंगे तो अगेन वो वीडियो ने काफ़ी हेल्प की. बाय द वे जो आपने दिखाया, यूथ विंग का वीडियो दिखाया, वेरी गुड वीडियो, बिकॉज उस वीडियो में इन सब की बात की गई है. AR VR की बात की गई है. मैंने तो 3 ही एग्जाम्पल दिए: AR गूगल, इमर्सिव गेमिंग एंड बिजनेस इंट्रैक्शन, स्मार्ट सिटी इंफ्रा, ट्रैफिक मैनेजमेंट, हेल्थ केयर, रिमोट सर्जरी, कनेक्टेड डिवाइसेस फॉर मॉनिटरिंग हेल्थ, इंडस्ट्रियल ऑटोमेशन एंड ऑटोनोमस व्हीकल्स. अगेन 3-4 साल पहले मैं आया था तो मैंने आपको फाइबर टू होम क्या कर सकता है इसी तरह की स्लाइड दी थी जो अच्छी तरह दिखती नहीं थी. अभी मैं रिप्लेस करके आपको 5G रिलेटेड IoT डिवाइसेस दिखा रहा हूँ कि 5G रिलेटेड IoT डिवाइसेस किस किस एरिया में होगी. आपके लिए पढ़ देता हूँ: ऑटोमोटिव, एग्रीकल्चर, इंडस्ट्रियल, सिक्योरिटी, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, पेरिफेरल, टॉयज, रिमोट्स, wearables, safety, automation, appliances, entertainment and healthcare. इन सारे एरिया में IoT डिवाइसेस होने वाली हैं. तो नेक्स्ट 2 साल के बाद IoT डिवाइसेस is going to change the future of this country, and this would be made possible only because of 5G. कितने लोग एग्रीकल्चर में विश्वास रखते हैं? प्लीज़, अगर आप रियली रखते हैं, मेरी सिंसियर रिक्वेस्ट आपसे है कि आप एग्रीकल्चर में डेफिनेटली जाएं, बिकॉज एग्रीकल्चर इज़ द फ्यूचर of this country. In fact, with all the productivity that we are doing, we are meeting Indian requirement. We are also meeting some of the WHO requirement now. आपने सर पढ़ा होगा कि अभी wheat भी export करने वाले हैं to other countries. But अगर हमारी productivity right level पे पहुंच जाए, which is only 400 tons, if it increases to 1100 tons, which the US does, that means it is 2.5 times. If we produce 2.5 times, we would be actually providing food to the entire world. सारी दुनिया अगर एग्रीकल्चर बंद कर दे, तो अगर हम 2.5 गुना प्रोडक्टिविटी इंक्रीज कर ले, हम सारे वर्ल्ड को फीड कर सकते हैं. दिस इज़ अ पावर ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, दिस इज़ अ पावर ऑफ डिजिटाइजेशन इन एग्रीकल्चर. एंड जो भी मेरे फ्रेंड एग्रीकल्चर में जाना चाहते हैं, वो डेफिनेटली बाद में मुझे बताएं कि सर्वे ड्रोन का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, एग्रीबॉट फ्लीट का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, स्मार्ट ट्रैक्टर्स का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, सेंसर टू ट्रैक एनिमल हेल्थ इस्तेमाल करेंगे, और फार्मिंग डेटा भी सारा का सारा ऑनलाइन उनके पास आ जाएगा. अगर आप ये सारी चीज़ें इस्तेमाल करेंगे, देयर इज़ नो रीज़न वाई योर प्रोडक्टिविटी कैन नॉट ग्रो टू 2.5 टाइम्स. इट कैन एक्चुअली ग्रो अप टू 5 टाइम्स टू 10 टाइम्स. कुछ मेरे फ्रेंड्स हैं, वो ये भी सोच रहे होंगे कि मैं तो खाली यूथ के बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ. ये सारा नॉट ओनली यूथ के लिए, सब के लिए है. बिकॉज जैन्स ये मानते हैं कि बिजनेस की कोई उम्र नहीं होती. आप देख लें, रितेश अग्रवाल ने जब धंधा शुरू किया वो खाली 20 साल के थे. फाल्गुनी नायर ने जब शुरू किया तो वो 49 ईयर्स की थी. सो बिजनेस करने के लिए कोई एज भी नहीं है. आप कभी भी चाहें बिजनेस शुरू कर सकते हैं. अगर चित्रंजन की वाइफ बिजनेस शुरू कर सकती हैं अभी, तो आप क्यों नहीं? एवरीबडी कैन डू बिजनेस, एंड आई विल रिपीट अगेन एंड अगेन, दिस इज़ द राइट टाइम इन इंडिया टू डू वॉट एवर यू वॉन्ट. सम में ऑल्सो से, सर हम तो करते हैं लेकिन फेल हो जाते हैं, तो क्या करें? टू देम माई आंसर इज, डोंट वरी. In fact, fail fast to learn fast. Fail, learn, repeat, and again become successful. आप तो definitely कर सकते हैं. Walt Disney was rejected 300 times. Sanders, ये Sanders कौन है? जो सज्जन KFC के हैं. He was rejected 1009 times. Jack Ma himself failed 5 times. तो हम कहते हैं कि हम फेलियर से डर जाते हैं. फेलियर से कभी डरना नहीं है. और इसके लिए मैं एक एग्जाम्पल आप सबके लिए छोड़ के जाऊंगा. एंड प्लीज़ टेक दिस एज अ टेक अवे फ्रॉम माई सेशन. माइकल जॉर्डन, आई मिस्ड मोर देन 9,000 शॉट्स इन माई करियर. आई हैव लॉस्ट ऑलमोस्ट 300 गेम्स. 26 टाइम्स आई वॉज ट्रस्टेड टू टेक द गेम विनिंग शॉट. पेनल्टी कॉर्नर दिया गया था एंड आई मिस 26 बार. आई फेल्ड ओवर एंड ओवर अगेन in my life, and that is why I have succeeded. If you have not tasted failure, you cannot taste success, because success will give you reward, failure will give you lesson. So this is, I am just, your Pooja? So she is just telling me अब आपको सर ख़त्म करना है. तो मैं क्विकली अब आपको बता देता हूँ फाउंडेशन ऑफ ए बेटर वर्ल्ड कैसे होने वाली है. एंड ये सारी फाउंडेशन हो भी जाए, ये फाउंडेशन हो भी जाए, तो भी आपको ध्यान रखना है कि अभी क्या हो रहा है. रेसिज्म, एंग्जाइटी, इस सब को भी आपको पार करना है. यू डोंट हैव टू लूज साइट. And profit maximization is at the heart of every business. I definitely want to give away what Deepak Jain Saab said. He also was, I think, a speaker in one of the session. He said, revenue is the urgency, reputation is the currency, and respect is going to be our legacy. With this, I come to the end of the presentation, and this is what India is going to be. And lastly, I think our fundamental belief is that growth is life, and this is also what is Reliance motto, growth is life. Continue to grow. Thank you very much for your patient listening. God bless you all. Jai Jinendra. आप जो भी करें, खुश रहें, सुखी रहें. Thank you. Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for the beautiful, amazing session, for all the detailing, all the insights. इनके लिए एक बार जोरदार तालियां, please. Standing ovation as well. Wow. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. And now to felicitate you, I would like to welcome the entire JITO Youth Wing.
All JITO Youth Wing members, please come up on the stage. Rupesh, Sanket, Chetan, Nilesh, Harshal, Dheeraj, Gaurav, Pritesh, Suyog. Come fast, come fast. अंकल ने हमको यूथ को बहुत सपोर्ट किया, तो मैं चाहता हूँ हम सब मिलके उनको फेलिसिटेट करें. Come fast, come fast.
So I request the entire JITO Youth Wing team to please come on the stage. सभी लोग जितने भी members हैं, सभी से मैं request करूँगी ऊपर आ जाएं.